Hey guys, today we're going to make a video of the installation of rear brake pads and rotors on our 97 Project Integra. They are provided to us by BuyAutoParts. It's time to get started on our video for the installation of the cross-drilled and slotted brake rotors on the rear brake setup for our 1997 Project Integra. BuyAutoParts was awesome enough to hook us up with the rear rotors, which are actually also marked because they do go on one side in particular, so they're marked driver and passenger. We got our premium ceramic brake pads to go with the rotors, and let's get started on installing them. See, first thing I can do, get it knocked out of the way, is remove the shield here. And the shield can be removed with a 10mm socket and ratchet. Watch out, because these shields do seem to like to crack. Looks like this one is actually cracked, in fact. Alright, so here we go. Take out that one. Oh yeah, piece of it just fell off. Okay. And then, let's see, there's another one tucked in the back here. Okay, there we go. Oh, hey, we got a friend here. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a Black Widow in there. Interesting. We'll have to do something about that. Not end up in the hospital. Okay. So, be careful when you have a car that's been sitting around for a while. You can run into some peculiar dangers. Alright, let's see. Let's reposition. I think we're going to have to do Operation Black Widow removal next. Unforeseen step, guys. Okay. Hold on. Alright, let's get a better view. Check that out. Ooh. Can you see in there? Whoa. There's that Black Widow. It's a big one. See if we can get the light on her. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Anyways, we'll take care of that. Okay, so now that the Black Widow has been removed, we're going to carry on. I'm using my cool little ratcheting wrench with attachment to get the bolt from the back, because it's in kind of a awkward spot. Then you got your muffler here, which is in the way on the passenger side, where you wouldn't run into that problem on the driver's side. Okay, there's the piece of the shield that was broken off. I don't know why exactly they do that, but both sides were broken on this car. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So we're going to unmount the caliper, and there are two bolts that have 12mm heads on them, so we're going to go and take out those bolts. Ow. Yeah, somebody went a little crazy on these. Tightened them a little more than necessary the last time these brakes were done. And I just busted a knuckle. A thumb knuckle at that. Alright, anyways. So let's get these out of here. You can see here, I think you can see, there's some corrosion on there. So that also was contributing to the bolts being stuck so tight in there. Here, let me give you guys a shot of the back. Alright, this is what we're working on right now. Okay, so I took out the top bolt. Now you guys got a little bit better view of what's going on back here. And take out the lower bolt. Ooh, it's also got minimal corrosion. Okay, so now we can pull the caliper back. These things like to stick. There we go. Alright, so we'll push that aside. And we can take out our little brake pads. Ooh. Pretty worn, not too bad. Time to change them. Okay, so then the next part is going to be going to remove the caliper mounting bracket here. Let's see, I'm going to give you a shot of where the bolts are, but then we're going to have to move the camera because it's in the way. So right there and way up in there. Oh, ignore all the cobwebs. This car's been sitting here a while. Slowly working on it piece by piece. But yeah, so you got two bolts here that use a 14mm socket to remove. We're going to take those off next. Time to remove the caliper brackets bolts, which are in a little bit of a tight spot, but I got this cool flexible universal 14mm socket here. Ooh, that's in there pretty good. But yeah, you might need to use a U-joint type of tool, or maybe an extension or wobble extension going in there. Let's see. Alright, next we gotta get the top one. Okay. Just gonna try to not do any damage, hold the caliper out of the way, and there we go. One thing you can do, as you can see, the caliper is like getting in my way. You can use a zip tie to tie it up to the spring. I'm probably going to do that here. The next time around, maybe. It's not really causing me any trouble now. Okay, so anyways, alright, so we got our bracket out of there, and now we'll go back up top. Alright, so the next thing I got to do is remove the rotor. The rotor is held on with these two screws right here, machine screws. The best thing I think that I've found for removing these, because they can be difficult, I have tried the impact screwdriver, which you beat on with a hammer, and it knocks them loose that way, because it has a twisting motion in it, and as it compresses it twists loose, or either direction, whichever direction you need to go actually. But anyways, you know, that works okay. The best thing though I found is a good impact driver. Bam! If you got a nice powerful impact driver and the right bit, these things come out like nothing. Power tools, gotta love them. Alright, now, oh, I was gonna say, we might have rust issues holding this rotor on, but luckily, they weren't too bad. Alright, so now we're ready to dust off the cobwebs and put it all back together. So now we have our replacement rotor, the nice drilled slotted rotor that was provided to us by our friends at BuyAutoParts. Flash the website, boom, buyautoparts.com. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and sort of prep this. What I like to do, you know, these are plated, so they didn't go and put any funky, greasy film on there to protect them from rust, but I still like to make sure that the friction surface is nice and clean. I don't want any dirt, grime, or oil or whatever interfering with the function of the brake pads. So just go over it. Well, what I'm using is acetone. Stuff works good for all kinds of things. So I'm just cleaning it up for good measure. You're really going to want to do this if you have just standard rotors that aren't coated, because they're going to have some sort of oily film on them. Okay, so now we're ready to install the rotor. When we're mounting up the rotor, you need to align the tapered holes with the threaded holes in the hub. So that's where those screws go that secure your rotor in place. There we go. Alright, put those two in. Now check it out, that's where I whacked myself earlier. Yum. Okay, so then I'm just gonna very lightly tighten these down. I want to be able to get them out next time. The next step is going to be a fun one. We need to thread the piston back into the caliper so that we can fit our new brake pads. The big difference between front and rear calipers is the piston is actually threaded into the caliper, and when you're replacing the pads, they are thicker, and of course on front calipers you would just press the piston in, but in this case we have to twist it in. So we're gonna go ahead and use this little universal funky little tool that you can get at any auto parts store for a pretty cheap price. I don't know, $4, $5, maybe less. And then we're just going to use the ratchet so you just line up the tool with the slots in the piston. Careful now, because it might want to slip out on you. It's another way you can bust your knuckles. Alright, so if I can ever get this thing to line up, can always try different settings on these tools. Alright, so you're gonna have some patience with this. This tool isn't the best. It likes to slip out. So now I've got the piston threaded back in and back into the caliper, and we're gonna go ahead and put the caliper mounting brackets back in place and get our brake pads on and carry on. Alright, so before we go and put the caliper mounting bracket back on, I'm going to re-lube the sliding pins here. Here we go. So you just kind of hold the boot back and peel it back and slide the pins out. And we're going to clean those up and put some new grease on them. Going to use some silicone paste, which you'll notice it says for brake calipers because it's for this purpose. Alright, so I'm going to wipe off the old stuff. Then coat it with some new stuff. Can coat it on there pretty liberally. Okay, there's one down. Oop, a little excess. You can wipe that off. Then we'll do the other one. Same thing. All right, there we go. If you do a little twisty motion, usually it'll help it snap back in to the groove on the boot, or the boot into the groove on the pin. It's probably more like it. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and bolt this back on. All right, so I'm gonna just zip tie the caliper up here to the spring. It's a good anchor point. Should have done that earlier, but hey, whatever. For you guys, yeah, I would say strap that thing back when you first remove it, and it'll definitely help you out. Okay, so we're gonna bolt this caliper mounting bracket up. And there we go. There's one. Look at the bottom one. I did actually put a little anti-seize compound on there, because especially if you got some corrosion on there already, it'll save you from future pain and struggle. Just make sure you don't get any of that stuff on the brake rotor or brake pads. Definitely not good for them. Okay. The brake pad kit did come supplied with this synthetic brake grease, and instructions say to put it on the contact points. So I'm putting some right here, right here. This pad goes on the outside. There we go. And then the other pad, the one with the little sensor feeler piece, that one goes on the inside. And the feeler piece should go toward the top, because that way it drags along the rotor when your brake pad is low, and it will warn you that your brakes need some attention. Break this caliper free here. Okay. And let's see, other contact points that we can lubricate just for good measure. You can get the little prongs or whatever you want to call them there, and even the cylinder surface right there. Some people will do those ones as well. And then you can slide this caliper back into place. Just make sure that your sliding pins line up. And then there is a spring right here, so you're gonna have to give it a little push to get the caliper to go on far enough to where you can line up the caliper mounting bolts that go into the sliding pins. So let's start with the top one. There we go. I also put some anti-seize lubricant on there because, yeah, these bolts definitely got corroded. I'm going to keep them from freezing up inside there. Yeah, there we go. And now we'll do the bottom one. Okay, then we'll tighten those down. Okay, and then next step will be to put this shield, well, our sort of broken shield, but I think with a washer we can make it work. Alright, so the mounting point that's still intact is this one in the back. And this uses the 10mm socket. And then, see, before I go and tighten that, let me see what I can do about lining up the upper portion. So, this is sort of a funky little trick. You can put a washer on that. We're going to put a washer to sort of extend the reach of this bolt so that it can still clamp this shield down. Alright, so I'm going to hold that shield over there and okay, so that should hopefully hold this in place. And we'll tighten the one in the back. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Alright, so that is going to be it as far as the brake components go. After this, we're just going to reinstall our wheel and torque the lug nuts back down, set it down, pump the brake pedal, make sure that we have braking action, and take it out for a test drive. Alright, so there's a shot of our beautiful completed brake setup, once again provided to us by our friends at BuyAutoParts.com. And yeah, they look great, and hopefully they perform just as good as they look, which I'm sure they will. Till next time, we'll be doing more videos, hopefully, on this Integra.